Hello, my name is Zachary Baca, and today I'm here to present on the question, can intermittent fasting bring health benefits? Throughout the late 20th and 21st century, there are many diets that circulated the scientific literature and made its way into the public. All these diets focus on different food types that one would implement or remove from their diet in order to lose weight. Here are some popular diets that people have followed for decades. Some dietitians thought that low fat was the best way to lose weight. Some thought low carbs or sugar. Some thought just natural foods or just plant-based foods. And so weight loss has puzzled us for years, and it wasn't until intermittent fasting that people started to focus on the when of eating rather than the what of eating. Intermittent fasting, or IF, is a pattern of eating that designates certain times of the day or week to eating and certain times to fasting. It involves planning meals into a feeding window so that calories are restricted to a certain time frame within the day or week. There are a few different types of IF. Pictured here is a time-restricted eating, or one fast for 16 hours a day, where they just have water or black coffee, no caloric intake, and then they eat during 8 hours a day. There's also alternate day fasting, where one alternate day is an eating day and then a fasting day, etc. And then there's also a 5-2 fast variation, where one will fast for two 24-hour time periods throughout the week. So why do we care about IF? Obesity and its related diseases and conditions have been causing a worldwide health epidemic. Obesity is related to many other conditions, such as the ones pictured here, but type 2 diabetes, heart disease, and hypertension will be the focus in this presentation. Another notable condition is Alzheimer's disease that can be seen here with amyloid plaques clumping up in the brain. At least 2.8 million adults die from obesity, and 17.9 million adults die from heart disease every year around the world, and more than 500 million people are diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, and 50 million people are diagnosed with Alzheimer's. IF has been investigated in order to help mitigate or prevent these diseases and conditions with its various health benefits. It can help the individual lose weight, improve insulin sensitivity and blood glucose levels, increase brain function and neurogenesis, improve stress response, and lower blood pressure. In this presentation, I'll review 4 studies on the health benefits of IF. This first study was by Firmly and colleagues and investigated 3 patients. Did a case study on 3 patients that were all have been type 2 diabetics for at least a decade, with patient 2 being a type 2 diabetic for 25 years. These are the comorbidities that they had, and this was the fasting protocol that they were put on. Patient 1 and 2 did a 3 times a week 24-hour fast, and then patient 3 did an alternate day fast. Throughout the study, 4 measurements were taken periodically: fasting blood glucose, serum A1C level, patient weight, and patient waist circumference. As you can see here, this is the initiation. This is before the fasting protocol. This is after. You can see a significant decrease in the hemoglobin A1C levels. This is all the diabetic medications they were on initially, and this is all the diabetic medication that they stayed on. Patient 2 and 3 actually got off all diabetic medications. They all lost about 9 to 12 kilograms, and their waist size, waist circumference also decreased significantly. This is the number of days that it took to come off the insulin, and patient 2 had the most number of days, which was 18 days. That was still very interesting because these patients all had type 2 diabetes for decades. And even though this is a small case study, I think it's very interesting, and this topic should be investigated further. A second study by Wan and colleagues involved 16 rats that were observed for 6 months and placed into 2 groups: a control group with a standard diet, denoted by this AL, an experimental group with alternate day IF. And after 6 months, the rats experienced lower heart rate, blood pressure, and core body temperature than the rats on IF, than the rats put on the normal diet regimen. And then also throughout the study, the rats were placed in stressful situations and experienced smaller increases of these cardiovascular variables in response to stress compared to the control group. As you can see here with the IF first, meaning their first response to stress, and then the response to that repeated stress was all significantly decreased in the heart rate and the blood pressure. And in this table, we have adrenocorticotropic hormone and corticosterone. And after 3 months, the basal or non-stress levels, both of these were significantly greater in IF rats, but after 6 months, they had dropped. However, the control group rats experienced large spikes in both of these. As you can see right here with a big spike here and a big spike here. With the adrenocorticotropic hormone for the IF, it actually had a decrease, and then it had a spike here, but not as significant as the control group. But the data here shows that the rats were able to adapt better to repeated stress, as you can see with these lower values here of adrenocorticotropic hormone and corticosterone. And the basal plasma concentrations of glucose and insulin were tested after 3 months and after 6 months of the experiment, and also after stressful situations. The IF group had significantly lower levels of glucose and insulin after 3 and 6 months, showcasing improved insulin sensitivity, but exhibited similar levels after a stressful event, showing that the metabolic responses to stress are conserved. A third study by Lee and colleagues subjected 7-week-old mice to alternate day fasting, intermittent fasting for 11 months, along with a control group with a standard diet. They also included a high-fat diet group, but I will not be talking about this group today because it's not relevant to this presentation. They put the mice through a fear conditioning test and a Barnes maze test to give researchers an idea on how IF affected the mice's learning and memory. Compared with the control group, the mice on IF were more efficient in the fear conditioning tests, showing increased freezing behavior, and in the Barnes maze, shown by quicker solving times. After 11 months, the brains were harvested, and the IF mice were shown to have lower oxidative stress, measured by a decrease in H&E in their cortex, and also a decrease in nitrotyrosine in their cortex compared to the control group. And then they also had a thicker CA1 pyramidal cell layer in the hippocampus, shown here, and a higher expression of the dendritic protein drebin, shown here. And these results showed that IF may slow down brain aging and improve learning and memory. The first involved 4 groups of mice that were studied for 3 months, a control group, a group put on alternate day fasting, a group with a 12-hour eating window, and a group with an 8-hour eating window. Here you can see the hippocampus, and the researchers concluded that IF can help activate an important signaling pathway in the hippocampus called the Notch signaling pathway, which is important in regulating and promoting neuronal cell neurogenesis and differentiation. And here you can see all the neuronal markers that are significantly increased in the IF groups compared to the AL control group. It can also increase IF can also increase expression of the postsynaptic marker PSD95, which is a regulator for synaptic strength. And the researchers concluded that the 8-hour eating window showed the most promising results. Further research should be done on this topic because these studies do show some promising results. There should be some more long-term research done. It is often hard to get people in the study to participate in this dieting regimen for long periods of time, but eventually we should try to find some people that be willing to do that, and we should do more studies on humans because many of these studies are on rats and other animals. And I think more studies should be done on reversing insulin sensitivity and studying on Alzheimer's as well. And thank you.